And it's Ken Kraetzer for CaMMVetsMedia. We're at Fort Drum today. Have a chance to visit the Fort Drum 10th Mountain Division Museum and talk to the curator, and that is Doug Schmidt. And Doug, great to visit the museum. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, thank you for visiting today, sir. Here at the 10th Mountain Division Fort Drum Museum, we cover the history of the Pine Plains Fort Drum area, as well as the history of the 10th Mountain Division from World War II to present. We've got several veterans that have served with the division. One of our more prominent ones, Senator Bob Dole, who was a veteran of the division in World War II. While he was with the division for a fairly short period of time, he would end up doing pretty great things for the division later on. He would end up being instrumental in the division actually getting back its mountain tab in 1985 when the division was reactivated.
Absolutely. And Senator Dole was, when he was injured in World War II in Italy, he was pulled off the battlefield by a soldier that I met later, Robert Carafa. And the two reunited late in life, and Senator Dole sent an appreciation to Sergeant Carafa for his rescue off the battlefield in Italy. It was a neat story.
Yeah, Senator Dole was known extensively throughout the veteran community, especially with the National Association of the 10th Mountain Division, for helping out veterans. He was oftentimes later in life seen there at the World War II memorial there in Washington, D.C., mingling with veterans and helping out where he could.
He was known as a regular to greet the honor flights that would come down to Washington, often on Saturdays, and see them at the World War II monuments plaza there on the Capitol Mall. What a great veteran and supporter of veterans Senator Dole was. And Doug, tell us a little bit, what are some of the exhibits that you have here in the museum?
So one of the really great ones that, especially with the tie to West Point, is that we've got our Pando Commando is themed throughout our museum. The Pando Commando really gained prominence in 2017 when it was part of the theme of the West Point football team's uniforms that year in the Army-Navy game. And the Pando Commando first came to prominence during World War II at Camp Hale. A sergeant, at the time Private Tatsumi Iwate, was actually the first soldier to actually draw this iconic symbol. The division would go on and eventually try to actually get this as the division's unit insignia. The Army turned the division down for that, saying that the insignia was too cartoonish for it to be used. But the prominence there, Sergeant Iwate eventually would go on after serving at Camp Hale with some of the units that would eventually join the 10th Mountain Division. He would go on to serve in the 442nd Infantry Regiment, known as the Nisei Troops, Japanese-American unit that would serve with distinction throughout Italy and into France and Germany. He would eventually earn a Silver Star for his actions during combat and also be wounded and earn the Purple Heart. And
Doug, one of the displays describes the impact 10th Mountain Division veterans have had in the ski industry, founding as much as 50% of the ski areas in the country, and also in other areas of business. That's quite a legacy.
Yes, after World War II, many of the veterans of the division who had experiences in the ski industry and just outdoors in general before they joined the division returned home and would eventually go on to take their love of skiing. Many of them that they gained that while serving with the division. They would go on and it's kind of the last count that we've got is close to 90 ski resorts were either owned by, operated by, or had a veteran of the 10th Mountain Division working at it after World War II.
Doug, just mentioned your service. You mentioned being a veteran.
Yes, I served with the division from 1998 to 2004. My great-grandpa also served with the division during World War II, so that was a very special kinship that I have with the division.
Now, that's great. My father was a World War II Army officer who served in the 91st Infantry, which was a parallel unit fighting their way up Italy from Rome up to the Po Valley.
Yes.
Parallel unit to the 10th Mountain Division. So I'm sure he would be very proud of all those who served in the 10th Mountain Division.
Yes.
Doug, great to visit your museum. How do people, it's just near the entrance to Fort Drum, how can people visit or find out more?
So the museum is actually located right off of State Route 26 that kind of cuts right through Fort Drum. We are now outside of the wire, so you're pretty easy to find us right off State Route 26, right by the Wheeler Sac Army Airfield Gate.
Doug Schmidt, the curator of the Fort Drum 10th Mountain Division Museum. Great place for to visit and learn more about this heroic unit of the U.S. Army. Great to see you today.
Thank you much.
It's Ken Kraetzer for CaMMVetsMedia at Fort Drum, New York.